Alright, coders, let's begin by actually creating my actual component. So please don't mind me if I'm not looking directly into the camera because I'm using my phone, which is right here. I've got a bigger screen over here and my actual laptop is on my right. So let me just go ahead and actually create a custom tabs.js component. So this is the component that we're going to need to actually create my tabs. Next thing, we'll need a folder within our actual screens, which is called our followers. So within our actual followers, we'll just have a details, which is like a dynamic route. So this is going to be my actual details.js file. Then another file over here will be my actual followship.js file. Okay, so this is going to take a React Native functional export component. So let me just make that capital. So the same thing over here. So I'll just call this my followers detail screen. Just call this my followers detail screen. Alrighty, so that's fine. And yeah, so that I don't actually default to the first screen, what I'm actually gonna start off by doing is actually routing to my screens dot followers, right? So the reason I'm actually doing this is because it's a dynamic route, so I can actually route to screens followers or set 1 2 3 or anything over here, right? So I'm just gonna just default this to my followers. I'm then gonna go ahead and actually stack my screen. So how I actually create my actual dynamic routes over here is I'm gonna say screens.followers, right? And then because I'm setting up a dynamic route, I'm just gonna use this over here, right? So this is the square brackets and it's gonna be called details. So I also want to show my actual title, and once that has been set up, you'll see that I actually have that. So let's now go ahead and actually try to set up my custom tab component. So if I set up my actual custom tab component, then I'm just going to be rendering this component, right? So okay, let me first create my style sheet. So for constant styles, which is style sheet dot create. So I'm just gonna have a container, which is just gonna be for this view over here. So this is just gonna be styles.container. I'm also gonna need another view inside here. This view is just gonna be storing my actual tabs, and underneath it, because when I click on each tab, I want to render like a different view, right? So how I go about doing that is so let's see. So it's by having like a view underneath that, right? Okay, so this right here is gonna take up tabs. Okay, so let me see. So this is gonna be my, let me just call this my followers view. So I'm just gonna have a followers view and a following view, right? Following view dot JS file, React Native function. Okay, following view. So let me just change up the naming convention over there. And then even for this, just gonna call this followers view. So how I go about doing this is inside here, I'll call it followers view. This is my following view. Then I'll just go ahead and actually save it out. Okay, so what do we want to do, right? So we want to dynamically render our actual tabs. So our tabs is going to be an array. So we're just going to come over here in our actual detail. So we're just going to have tabs, which is going to accept an array. And we want to have like a label for our tabs. So we're going to have our actual followers. And then we'll also want to have like our actual content. So this content is gonna be like actually rendering. It's gonna actually render my actual followers view like that. Okay. Then if I just copy this, have another one over here. This is for my following. So these are for the people who are actually following me. All right, so this is all good. So now if I go back to my actual component, now I can actually map through the tab and have an index. And right over here, what I'll just need to show. So this is going to be my actual tab view. So this is just taking a view, and within this view, we're just going to be rendering a text, which is going to show my tab.label. So as you can see over now you can actually see the two tabs that I have, which is my followers and my following. So we want to pass it a key because we're iterating through an array to display this component. Okay, so now let me go ahead and actually set up my styles, right? So I'm gonna have styles dot tabs. So here I'm gonna have like a style, which is gonna be styles dot my actual, because these are tabs. This is gonna be the containers tabs. This is for my actual tab. Then I'm also gonna have another styles for my tab text. Okay, so now let's just set up my actual styling. So I'm gonna just have a flex one, set up like a background color, which is gonna be set to, let me see, let me just say transparent. Let me make it transparent. We're also gonna have a class over here. So we want to set the flex direction for this to be row, so these two can be set up horizontally. So if I save this over here, so let me just set the width to take up 100%. So let's see what's actually happening. So the width is gonna take up like 100%. So this is styles.tabs, and then we also need the tab. Okay, so with my tab, I'm gonna set up like a padding of 10 pixels, which is gonna be the left and right. want to align my items to center, and let's just have tab text over here. Just have we'll have a black color. So let's see what happens if I, okay, so this is tab, this is a tab. All right, so each tab should take up a width of 50%, right? So let me just say 50%. Okay, color, background color to blue. So I've got a background color to blue for each tab. Interesting. So let me see, right? So I've got these tabs over here. So these tabs, which are supposed to take up a flex one. I want to see what I'm actually doing wrong. So this justify content space between. So I'm setting this up to tabs, and the background color for this is going to be set up to transparent. Okay, so let's just do something over here just to see. Okay, so we'll just have a background color. Just want to see something, right? So if index, right, is equal to 0, then we want a green color, else we want a blue color. So let's see. So okay, I can see over here that okay. Let's go to the details page and actually see if we've got a label. So we do have a label, which is this and that. So we know that we are setting up something over there, which is my actual tab, right? But for my text, so let me just set a font size of 14. So this is my tabs text. Just gonna set it up to 10 pixels. And because I want them both to be clickable, I'll just set it up to a touchable opacity. Interesting. So I actually have my tabs, which are actually set up. Let's see. This is really interesting, right? So I've set up my actual tabs over here. Okay. Which should be taking 50%. But what I'm not seeing is this text. So this is taking a style, right? And if I save it and actually reload, it's actually interesting why it's not showing this. Okay, let me just crash this app and actually have an npx expo start. Let's see what actually happens now, right? Because ideally this text should be showing. So this is tabs. Okay, interesting. Okay, that might take a bit of some time. Alrighty, so it's up and running. So I just needed to crash the app and rerun the app for it to actually show that UI. So now I can go ahead and actually remove this. And I'm just gonna have like a styles.active tab. So for my actual active tag, I wanna set up like a border bottom color over here, which is gonna take out this, like, let me just copy this hex. Okay, so how this is gonna work is if active, so we need a use state over here, which is an active tab, and then set active tab index. Use state is just gonna take up 0. Then if our active tab index is equal to this, just gonna have the stylings, else just now. Let's actually see what happens. Okay, so this is complaining because of our actual use state. So we're gonna import our actual use state. And yeah, okay, now we just need to remove this tab's background color and set it up to white. And then for my border bottom, so this is border bottom width. So this is just going to be set to 3 pixels, right? So you'll see. So now I just want to set up an on click. So on press event. So this on press event should handle press. So this is handle clicked item. So this is gonna handle clicked tab. Handle tabs, right? Press. Okay, so I'm just gonna pass in that index over there, and now what I need to do is actually create the function for that. So this is gonna take an arrow function. So set this to that index. Alrighty, so when a user actually clicks, it should change these tabs. So hence you can see with that UI, right? Okay, so another thing that we actually want to do over here is have like a render content. And with this render content, we just want to take it from tabs active index dot content. Okay, so let's see what's actually happening, right? Okay, this is gonna complain, right? So the reason why it's complaining is because here in my actual details, I'm not specifying this. And this should take up like a content. And I wanna render it inside a view and just have content. Nope, this is not going in here, but this is its own prop. So now we've got like a render content, but we're not passing it here as a prompt. Okay, so now we can see is the moment we actually click here, we're actually seeing the different views, right? So now if I were to go here and actually set up like a styles, need to set up my styles. So this is styles, which is style sheet dot create. So I'm just gonna have that. I'm gonna set up the background color to be white. So styles container. Okay, then my actual height is gonna be set up to 100%. And my width is also gonna be set up to like 100%. So this is basically what I have. So the moment I actually switch these two tabs, I should be seeing the correct thing, right? Okay. That's all good. So when I click on this, that should switch. And when I click on that, that should also switch, right? So there's another thing that I also want to set up is my actual header, right? I want to change this header title. So now I can go to this details page, right? I can set an option over here, which is going to be title. So first and foremost, I need to first import this, have a title. So here I can just call it friends. And I can just remove this. And that should be it. Okay, it's not gonna work because it's outside. Yeah, so this should be it. So now, oh, okay, so now I've got like another issue, right? But let me just reload this page. Before I go ahead and actually set up stuff. Okay, now we know we're landing on this page and we can actually switch through the different pages. So what's the next thing that we want to do? So the next thing we want to do is actually set up our component. So another component that we're going to set up over here is going to be our follow card.js, React Native. Okay. Follow card. Alright, so for this we're gonna need a view. Inside that view we're gonna need an image section. So we're gonna have like a source, use the require, and then profile. So this is gonna be coming from profile underscore one dot that. So we need to set up like our actual styles. So for our style, we get it from style sheet. So we'll just set this for my image. Also gonna have one for container. And for my image, what I'm gonna set up is a width of 56 and a height of 56 pixels, and a border radius is gonna be set to 56 divided by 2. Now if I go ahead and save that out and come here to following and try to display this follow card, okay, now you should be seeing something, right? So you should be seeing that image. So we're also gonna have like another view. So here we're gonna say style, just styles.info container. We're gonna have a view which is gonna have my actual text over here. So this is gonna be styles.text container. Right, so here we're gonna have then a text field. So we're gonna have a text field, and we'll pass in some sort of config, right? So this is gonna be a config. So this will take the full name of the person, so I'm gonna say follows you. So this is just gonna say this person actually follows you. What else am I gonna need? Let's actually see. Alrighty, interesting. So you're also gonna need a button which is gonna be used for actually following the person, right, and unfollowing a person. So for this, we're going to use a touchable opacity. And this is going to come from a... Do I want it as a config? No. Oh yeah. So I'll just say config.is. So just checks if this person is is a follower, right? No, is following me, right? So I want to check if this person is actually following me. So if the person is actually following me, then I can have like an unfollow. Else follow. Okay, this is gonna complain because I'm not actually passing anything right there, right? So I don't have like the specific config. So if I go to my actual follow, so I'll need to have like a config. So the full name here is gonna be bug array is following. This is going to be set up to true. Now what is actually happening? So if I go back here, so this is fine. Oh, sorry, my bad. So this is using a touchable opacity. All right, so this has to be inside like a text. And okay, yeah. Hence you can see now you've got something, but I want to set up like a global styles, right? So global, and I have like global styles.js file. So this is gonna export constant, which is global styles. So there are like specific styles that are gonna be like set up like globally. So one, for instance, would be, let me just go to my, I think it's profile header. I should have like a specific button. So this over here. So I'm just gonna use this. Just come here, paste it right there. Or I can actually go to my sign-in screen. So I can go to my sign-in screen and actually try to locate a button. So yeah, this is what I'm gonna need basically. Right. So if I go ahead and save this, and now I can actually go to that follow card component. So let's see. So this is flex direction, should be set up to row. So I also need text container. Okay, I do have a text container. I'll need an info container. And what else do I need? So I'll need an info container, style. So I need styles dot full name, and I'll just have a style, which is going to be styles dot description. Okay, then in here, just gonna have a style styles dot, nope, This is going to be coming from my actual global styles that I've actually set up, right? And this is going to take a button style. Okay, this is set up all proper, right? But for my actual info text, I want to set this to a row. All right. So what else do I need to do? So my text container. So this is my text container. This is going to be set up to flex 1. So my info container will have like a column gap of like 16 pixels. Even here, I'll just have a column gap of like 16 pixels and a padding horizontal of 16 pixels and a padding vertical of 10 pixels, right? Okay, now let's see what's the issue. Okay, wait, let me just do this. That's all good for now. And if I was to go to my global styles, let's see something, okay? We might wanna remove this. Width is set up to 100%. Flex. Okay, what's actually happening now? I'm actually messing up some stuff. So let me just go ahead and say background color is set up to green. So that's gonna take up everything. Okay, so this info should take up like the rest of the space. So let's say background of that would be orange. All right, then this, yeah, so this is all good. So we can also set some other stylings over here, which is align. Is it content to flex start? Okay, so let's see. So over here we've got a padding vertical, just set up to that. Okay, so let's remove this. Okay, this is fine for now, right? Then this is gonna be set up to a button. So this is styles.btn text. Okay, so I'm just gonna set like a padding horizontal over here to 10 pixels. Nope. Okay, here, so button extra. Okay, this is gonna be calling styles dot btn extra. This is gonna be coming from padding horizontal is gonna be set up to 10 pixels. Right. So this font size is gonna be set up to 16 pixels, and the description, nope, the font size from the description is gonna be 14 pixels. This is gonna have a color or white color. Nope, not a white color. Actually wanting to set up like a font weight, which is going to be bold. Okay, yeah, so this is a text container. So what I want to do for that text container, I want to say justify content to center that content, and I'm just going to remove this over here. So this extra will have like a width of like 100. No, not the text. My bad. So not the text. So that's gonna have like a width of 100. So I don't think I'll need that. So that's all good. But now there's one issue that I'm actually facing, and just wanna figure out why. So let me see. So the text is set up to that. So I'm aligning. Okay, do I even need that? Okay, so I can align items to center. So I can align those items to center, and then what happens if I say align? Oh, I see. That's why. So what I need to actually do is create an actual style sheet over here and have that as a create. Right, align self to flex start. So what happens if I just set the padding vertical to 10 pixels? Okay, yeah. So this should be fine like that. But now if I go ahead and come here, which is this, align items. I want to align these items to center. Right. And if I were to set align self here to center, that will center it out, right? So I want to now see if I can actually change up something, right? So if I was to remove this align, right, and actually come here, and I think I can remove this. Yeah, so basically this is what we need, right? So what I was actually struggling with was actually centering this button. That can actually be a problem, centering a button, right? So let me just set like a padding horizontal of like 10 pixels, right? So instead of setting that, yeah, I'll just set up like a padding horizontal of 15 pixels. Let me say 15 pixels. Let me see, this button isn't as bad, but do I want that? That might be the question. Now, basically what I'm going to do, I'm just going to set up like a definite width so that all the buttons are the actual same size, basically. Okay, so now I can go ahead and actually remove this green color. And what you should be seeing now is actually this nice UI. There might be like something I'd want to fix, and that would be like, I think it's the description text color. So this would be set up to this, and I feel like this is all good. Okay, so if you want, you can just go ahead and actually just try to render those components like that, and then say now I say this person is set to false. So if this person is not following me, right, I have to have this as follow, but I also need to remove this text. So how I go about doing that is I'll come over here, set it like this, and have a config dot is following. So what is the issue I'm actually facing? Oh, yeah, needs to be this double ampersands, right? So if the person is not following me, right, I don't want to show that text. So I just want to have this button for follow, and that text should be actually removed, right? So for this screen here, I can just basically copy this and also paste it here in the following UI. I'll just need to just import this, save it out, and if I just come over here, can just change it out to this John Doe. Okay, John Doe test user or Mark. This can be Mark Z. Yeah, so this is what I would want to have right over there. Okay, this is all good, but then there's one thing that I actually want to set up, right? So the other thing that I want to set up is, say now I go back to the screen, right? Say now, let's say I go to the home page. If the person clicks on followers, right, it should actually go to that screen that I need, but with the actual appropriate tab, right? So how I go about doing that is, first I'll need to go to my headers over here. So under this fan counter, I'll need to set up like a on click event. So it's on press. So this will pass in like a config dot on press. So this will have like an config on press, and then within here I'll have like this on press, and I'll just make this a touchable opacity. Then maybe on press and on press. Okay, so I've actually passed that in. Righty, so if now I go back to my actual profile, I'm gonna encounter like an issue, right? And this is because I haven't actually set it up in my actual profile screen. So in my profile screen over here, where am I setting this profile header? So it sets profile. So I'll have like some sort of like a profile data that map through the items in there. And if item dot name, I think it's item dot name if not mistaken. So if item dot description equals to followers, so if it's equal to followers, I'm gonna set the item dot on press to have this function. Else if it's actually following, so then else, then just don't do anything, right? So yeah, I want to set up like a router dot, so I just need a const router equals to use router. Okay, nope. So it's a use route. Let me see, use route. I'll need it from this use router, which is coming from this Expo router. So if I go back to my profile screen, this is what I'm gonna need. I'm gonna use a use router dot. So this is gonna be set up to this. So it's screens.followers, then followers. So this is going to be set up to screens.followers. Then this is going to be set up to screens.followers following. So now let's see what actually happens, right? So if I go back to the screen, try to come to my profile, this tells me that I actually cannot map that data, right? So my question would be, so they say this is not okay, so I'll just say data equals to profile data. So now let's see what actually happens. So I'll go back, go in here, and this is actually now complaining. So this is profile data, and then this is going to be data instead. Return item. So now let's see. So they say iterable. So what's the issue? Oh, okay. No. My bad. So I go back. So what is not iterable? Oh, sorry, my bad. I made a mistake. So the reason why I'm getting that issue is because I need to say profile data dot followers, which is iterable, right? Because that's an array. So now if I go to that screen, so there. But now there's something that I'm not seeing, right? So just say else item dot onPress is equal to just an empty arrow function. So now let me just stop the server and try it again. So clear npx and just start it up again and actually see if we are getting to something. I think it should work, right? Because I'm actually passing it as that profile config that's coming in here. And basically what's happening in this header, I'm saying pass in an onPress, and just here it's just calling this onPress over there, right? Okay, let me just close this up. Okay, now let's see if I go here. I've got like an issue, right? So this has a function. This has a function that it's actually passing to, but it seems like it's crashing. No. But why could that be the... Oh, okay. I think it's because here don't have it as a touchable opacity. This needs to be a touchable opacity. I think that's where I went wrong. Maybe. So now let me just reload this and actually see. So just quickly go back. Go to this profile screen and we've got an issue again. So let's try and figure out this issue, right? So we're trying to iterate through these followers, right? So we're trying to iterate. Oh, this is an item dot on press. Yeah, it can't be a. Can it be a config? Because this is iterating through each followers. So let me just go back to my actual profile screen. So this is passing it under this profile, and this profile has followers. Oh yeah. This data needs to go to profile data dot followers equals to this data. Right, because that, I think that's the way it should be. So it's followers. This is coming from this items. Okay, let me just go ahead and actually try to console log this thing, because it's actually interesting why it's not working. But that's the life of being a programmer. Okay, so just profile data. Go back, go to the profile screen. And it's complaining about what is not iterable. Oh yeah, true. This cannot be iterable. I'm actually messing up stuff. Interesting. Yeah, finally. Like I've been like making a mistake, right? So I haven't been like passing it to these followers. So now let me see. So if I click on this, that should send me to that screen. And if I click on this, that should send me there. But if I click on this shouldn't do anything. Alrighty, so actually figured it out, right? But now let's say I click on the screen, right? There's something we should be seeing right over here, right? So we should have like params, and then I use local search parameters. So we're gonna have like a use effect that we're gonna use. So on initial load, we just want to console.log our actual parameters. And actually see something, right? So the moment we land on this screen, you'll see that we've actually landed it with like clicking followers. So if I were to go back and click on following, right? So wait, let me just save this. Let me save this and actually go back to I think it's my profile screen. So this should be passing following. So okay, you should be seeing something, right? So let's say now I click on following. This should log in like the details of following, right? But there's actually something we should be considering, right? So what we actually have to then do is within my actual details page, I want it to be set up in such a way that when I actually click on following, right, it actually activates this tab. So how we go about doing that is right over here, we'll have an active current index. So this current index over here is going to be retrieved by this. So we'll just set up like an if statement over here. So it's going to be parameters. So if my parameters dot index, no, if my parameters, where do I want to set it up? So let me see. So if my parameters dot details, right, equals to followers. So if my parameters dot details equals to followers, I want to set it to 0, else set it to 1. So that's just for my current index. Then I can just go ahead and remove this. So now if I were to go to my actual tabs component, I'll have a current index, and on initial load, which is using our use effect, what I want to do is set up an arrow function which is going to set the active index to my current index. So this is basically what we need. So now if I were to go back, click on followers, so this should show my followers, right? If I were to go back again and click on following, right, and this should actually set up like my followings, right? So just to actually see that we're actually seeing the correct content, so if I go to following, I'll just set up this first username as followers. If I go to followers, view, so if I go back, click on followers, the first user is going to be this followers view. So basically this is what we have been doing for this video. So I've actually added now actual screen, which is our following and followers page. With all that being said, if you like the video and you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Now peace.